That's of course a special treat for me, that two very successful horse breeders, one from Roosendaal, the other from Holland near Bosch. First of all, my friend Averdiek, and secondly, Egbert Schep. Egbert Schep is also one of the most successful Dutch breeders of all time. He's on the board of the KWPN and has bred so many successful horses and was recently very, very successful in Munich. Just like Averdiek, who also comes from an agricultural background and runs a highly successful breeding and training business, in addition to his agriculture. And you must be highly motivated because you both were so successful in Munich. How was it for you? Munich was a very successful year for me. I had a young Casino Grande Havana Club Corner de Bolensky Stallion with me. He already showed very well in the pre-selection. I always thought he was really good the whole summer, already in the pasture. Just a remarkable stallion, and he did everything really well in Munich, so he deserved the victory. And the two of us also spoke on the phone. You are quite nervous then when it was your turn. You hope such a stallion shows what he can do, but he did. And you know yourself, when you come to us in the spring, you usually bring two mares here, and we sit down on the couch and think what we're going to do. And as a stallion owner, I always try to give the best mares to the young stallions, and then we both thought, well, let's try Casino Grande, right? I'm one who likes to take young stallions anyway, because I always think that breeding has to go forwards and can't always just rely on the famous TV stallions. A young stallion is always a head start. You always look forward to the foal. You can see that breeding has future and develops. And then, of course, we have another one who's quite successful, Egbert. And I have to say that you have Heracles as our shared stallion, which you took with you from Vechta. Do you remember that time? When he was not taken in the pre-selection, that doesn't matter. Then he went to Holland and had quite a career with you. And that was really tremendous. And I have to say, as far as the offspring of Heracles is concerned, I often visit you in winter at your beautiful facility. And last year you already showed me an offspring, a chestnut stallion, which you have bred yourself, and it was sensational how the horse could move and his free jumping skills. And I think you have him now for the KWPN licensing, haven't you? Yeah, that was the one of the best horses from the pre-licensing with us. He's a really fantastic horse. He moves like a top dressage horse. He is beautiful like a painting and jumps extraordinary. And that was also the case with the one I saw in Munich. It was quite impressive. And what I also found super was the reaction. I think he had a small mistake once in the row at the beginning and how he implemented it and pulled it off. And you were not only there with that one, but also with the Nixon, which one you have in your own breeding, also a young stallion. And how do you do it at home? Do you have a lot of embryo transfer? Do you use older stallions? Do you use younger stallions? What is your philosophy? The philosophy is you have really good broad mares first. We always talk about stallions, but you have to get the right stallion for the right mare. That is very important. Yeah, I agree. So, I mean, we always talk about the stallions. I think 60% of the inheritance is certainly the mare. And you both have an incredibly good mare line. How did you manage it so well over the years? Mostly through sport horses that have gone out of the sport because they were too old, or had an injury. And then that's how it is, that the ones with the best offspring have done well. That may be a good thing to say. I once took 4 of my best 4-year-old mares to Joris de Brabander. And Joris has a young stallion, Mosito van het Hellehof, who was not a very pretty stallion, but he jumped exceptionally. He has quality. He was not the most beautiful, but he has quality. And I said, Joris, You get 4 mares from me and make them pregnant. He did, and I had 4 top mares. And Mosito is now one of the most upcoming stallions. You have to be early with them. That's always like that. You always have to try to be ahead of the market. And that was the same with you, Tönne, if I remember correctly. When Cornet came on the market, I think you were one of the first to use them. I started with the Acrobat mare that I had. I was in the sport. And when Cornet was a young stallion, I went immediately twice in a row, or rather 3 times in a row, and had the luck to breed Conado the first and second out of it. Then I once had a Ludwig's Ass son who came out of a Cornet mare. There was also the first fall out of this mare. So we also use a lot of young mares, and sometimes we get 1 or 2 foals out of the young mares, and then they go into sport again. And of course, if the foals are so outstanding, then you keep the mares. You have to keep the good mares, otherwise it goes backwards. Yeah, you need to breed with the best mares you have, but you can also speed up our breeding progress by doing embryo transfers. Then, of course, everything goes a little faster, even with the older mares. What do you think is the future? What does the market need? I've noticed for myself that we have a lot of demand lately, no matter what category of horse it is. How do you see the future for us breeders? What we need to do to keep this profitable business? The important thing is that the horses can be ridden. I think that is a very important criterion, because many people want to ride but are not aiming for the big sport. In the end, they are happy if they can ride at medium level and have a good horse. And they are very rare at the moment. They are basically sold out, to be honest. How is it in Holland? It's the same with us. We always try to breed a top horse. That's normal. If you have Grand Prix horses as a goal, and you see how many compete at 1.60 meter level per year, that's not even 1% of the whole breeding in Northern Europe. But the rest has to be marketed as well. And that is right what Tönne says. Riding quality is incredibly important at the moment. What we also emphasize, I have to say honestly, is that the stallions also look like a stallion. Yeah, a stallion must be a stallion. There has to be a difference between a stallion, gelding and a mare. That's a bit of what I see as a problem in the whole breeding at the moment. One wants to focus only on the short term, to sell a foal expensively from a popular stallion and a good dam line. But whether this is the best method, I have my doubts. You always have to make a good combination. That is the power of breeding, to get better and better. Not the very same old thing for 40, 50 years ago. I don't believe in that. What you just said with the 1.60 meter level horses, that is also our ambition. I mean, of course, when we use our stallions, we have our best mares, we want to breed the Olympic horse. That is our goal. And Olympia comes every 4 years. Now it comes every 5 years. 3 are still allowed to start in the show jumping competition. So we were difficult to be part of it, but the goal is to become the best. And I can only state for myself that as far as the whole breeding is concerned, that our horses have become much better over the last 20 years. And that's no longer comparable at all. Well, that's a general case, even in the lower classes. Yeah, and even there, the riding quality becomes much better. If you used to have to work the horses dressage-wise, nowadays the riders are having an advantage. They are all rideable. They're rideable, they have a good attitude, and I must say, if you have a mare that has a bad character, where it all comes through like that, you just have to then weed out and sell that you really only breed with the best mares. I have a suggestion. I sold a mare, a very good mare. She produced 5 offspring, all 1.40 m successful or more. I sold the mare because she was bad to ride as a young horse. Maybe I shouldn't have sold her. But we also have to move forward with the horses. We also sell a lot of horses abroad to Scandinavia. And all the daughters who like to ride in competitions, they have wealthy parents who would like to be part of the sports. They need horses that can be handled, that have blood nowadays and are also cautious. But above all, they have to be rideable. Especially if the horses don't have the top quality, then they can still become a hunter or an equitation horse. And we only talked about jumping, both of you, of course, especially Tony, you were also successful with a premium stallion in dressage. You have also set up your studs to market dressage and show jumping horses. You have also had a lot of luck with the dressage horses and the dressage stallions and the stallion approvals. But even there, we often take young stallions again and mate them with the better mares. In principle, that works out quite well. How is it with you? The Dutch are very strong at the world ranking list, and sometimes we have the feeling that they are too difficult and cannot be ridden by amateurs. How have you adjusted to that? It has gotten better with the young horses. They are more rideable. But that's the way it has to be. They were too difficult. So both of you, like me, come from an agricultural background, but you're confident that we breed good horses, train them well, have happy customers. Our grandchildren will still be able to make a good living from our business, won't they? Yes, I'm really sure my daughter is motivated, and it's also great to see it continue. And it goes on with you? Yes, it does. Good horses remain in high demand all over the world. What I'm still missing a little bit, I've seen your video when you are on your farm in Paraguay, when you sit on your horse and drive your herd of cattle. That would be another dream of both of us, Tony, wouldn't it? Well, the Dutch are just a bit ahead of it. That was a nice talk. Thank you very much.